Shalom, shalom, shalom. Peace and blessings to all my brothers and sisters spread throughout the four corners of the earth. Welcome to Lack of Knowledge TV. I am your humble host, Mikael, and today we're going to break down this debate. This is a debate between Candace Owens on the left of the screen, the the lesbian feminist conservative, and on the right of the screen is your liberal Dr. Cornel West, the Illuminati puppet, who is a professor at the University of Harvard, who is supposed to be some kind of an expert on black politics in America. We're gonna break this bullshit down. This is another example of the race baiting and the divide and conquer agenda that they're pushing forward during this presidency of Donald Trump. And since election time is around the corner, now is a perfect time for them to continue this race baiting and this propagandas and agendas that they push on the masses. And we're gonna break this video down and get into it. Let's check this shit out.
It's not just that Donald Trump is saying and doing racist things. He's also implementing policies that are hurting and impacting negatively communities of color.
I don't think Donald Trump is doing an awful lot to appeal to African American voters.
All the policy that he's put forward has been anti-people of color.
Now, of course, the last scene that you just seen that has of course been in the narrative since Donald Trump's been in office. That Donald Trump's a racist. That is his presidency has done nothing for African Americans. In fact, that's always the narrative. No matter what presidents in office, whether it's Barack Obama or any of them, none of them done anything for so-called black people in this country. But of course, they have to keep pushing out these propagandas. They have to keep pushing out these agendas to have this divide. They love to have people separated. They love to have the whole country divided, going at each other's necks to push this race war that is coming in the near future.
Now, we hear those lines all the time, but here are the facts. Since President Trump took office, black unemployment has hit an historic low and currently sits at about 6.7%. And by the way, he's not satisfied. And
what are these numbers based on? What are these numbers based on? How can you prove it? How can you prove? Can you bring some kind of proof for the people? How are you basing these numbers? Where do you find these statistics at? They just throw anything in front of your face. You're supposed to believe this bullshit. Fuck out of here.
He wants it a lot lower, but still pretty great. The number of African Americans employed is up more than 4%.
Of course, you're 4.2, as you see right here on your screen. That's for your number 6. That's, of course, a Freemason number. Anytime you see these numbers, you have to understand the signs and symbols and numbers. Anytime you see these numbers, for your 4.2, 4 plus 2 equals 6, that's how you know this is a motherfucking psyop and this is a fake story that they're running on the people. Propaganda.
African American wages, this is my favorite, are up more than 9%.
Okay, 9.2. That's how you get your number 11.
Here now in a truly special debate. I'm so happy about this. Candace Owens, Blexit Movement founder and conservative commentator, and Cornel West, professor of philosophy at Harvard University and professor emeritus at Princeton. Dr. West, I also want to tell you, I really appreciate your coming on the show. You're an old style liberal. I don't mean old and old. I mean, but you like debate and conversation, and I think that's just awesome. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. And I want to begin with a simple question, Dr. West. Are the president's policies, such as economic policies, are they helping the African American community in your view?
Now, I think that the statistics certainly look good through a narrow lens, so I give him credit in that regard. But we have to keep in mind that on the one hand, you still have grotesque wealth inequality, you have job insecurity, so many people who are working more than one job. We know many people who've withdrawn from the labor force are not counted at all. But I think the problem is, though, my dear sister, is that the president has a language that creates an atmosphere that is so xenophobic against black folk, Mexicans, Muslims. He rarely wants to stay in contact with their humanity. So when you look at the statistics, that's one thing. But when you create an atmosphere and an ambience of xenophobia, it reinforces the polarization, and therefore many black folk wouldn't even be able to connect the statistics that look good with the language so bad. And that cold-hearted, mean-spiritedness is something that cuts very, very deep in the spirit of people.
Have you met him? Have you met him, Dr. West? Ever met the president?
No, I've never had a conversation with my right wing brother. I mean, you know, I've called him a gangster and a proto-fascist in terms of separation of power. But he's a human being. He's a human being, and I can, you know.
No, I'm just saying this because look, you and I don't agree a lot, but I actually really like you. I think
Okay, she's clearly mocking the brother, Dr. Cornel West. She's sitting there like she's not taking anything that he's saying seriously. And in my opinion, he's just rambling on. He didn't really address whatever. Excuse me. He didn't even address the fucking question that he asked. He just rambled on about a bunch of bullshit. Blah 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 blah. But she's sitting here mocking, and watch how she interacts with this lesbian sister that you see on the left side of the screen.
I just like the fact that you're out there and you're advocating. I have no problem with it, and I wouldn't call you mean-spirited. Agree, but I think if you actually were with the president, you might find that you could accomplish a lot together and you could do a lot together. I really believe that he'll work with pretty much anybody. And that's what I found in my experience. So I'm just throwing that out there, Candace. But
sitting here promoting President Donald Trump. Now, you know, like I mentioned previously in this video, that, you know, it is election time, so she's most likely a paid operative from the Donald Trump administration to push these false and fake numbers and fake stories on the people to make it look like he's actually doing something. But in fact, he's just a puppet like anybody else playing his role.
Is this tonality issue that people seize on with the president, and they always go back to Charlottesville, they always go back to this S-hole countries. Those are the two things they really seize upon, the travel ban. Those three things probably, for some, just wipe out any other accomplishment. Your reaction?
Well, look, I think the president is doing something different. Definitely his tone is different because he tells the truth and he doesn't pander to Black America. He hasn't offered us hot sauce. He's offered us jobs. That makes...
Okay, so she's sitting there clearly mocking the people, saying that Donald Trump hasn't offered us hot sauce. He's offered us jobs. Now, what the fuck is this supposed to mean?
Many people uncomfortable because they're from an era where race hustling is a business. They're used to telling Black Americans that they're victims, writing books about victimhood, and that is no longer selling in America. And I just wanted to comment back on saying that xenophobia is something that Black Americans are afraid of. Xenophobia means that you have a fear, Mr. West, foreigners. Black Americans are not foreigners in this country. We are a piece of the American dream. We've earned a piece of this American dream, and we're getting tired of people telling us that we are somehow separate of it. I mean, that's that.
This lesbian is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Oh my goodness. Where did they find this broad? Oh my goodness.
That's really what I have to say. We're doing tremendous under this presidency. There is no candidate that is offering anything on the left to counter what Trump has offered. They're just offering more rhetoric, more fear-mongering, and unfortunately...
The only thing that Donald Trump has offered the so-called African-American community is more bullshit, more lies. Okay, the only thing... listen, one thing about Donald Trump is, you know, he's not going to... One thing, he's not going to sit there and feed you bullshit. He's going to pretty much... I remember back during his campaign days when he did a speech to the African-American community. He said, listen, African-Americans, you got no jobs, you got no money. What have you got to lose? Try something different. But she's clearly sitting here disrespecting the generation before her that obviously put in the hard work and suffered enough to where she's in the position of where she is today. And to sit there and disrespect the generation before her is absolutely ridiculous, saying that he's from a generation of race hustlers and all of that shit, saying that we've earned a piece of the American dream, we're a piece of the American dream. Get the fuck out of here. Number one, let me tell you, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. The American dream is a fucking illusion. The American dream is a fucking illusion. The only people that benefit from the American dream are rich people and Europeans. Okay? Not even that. You know, if you take the race thing out of it, the only people that benefit from the American dream are if you're rich and powerful. Okay? If you're rich and powerful. That's all. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin at these particular times, the day and age that we in. It's all about your status. Okay? So for this broad to sit up here and say that all African Americans are a piece of the American dream now, that's bullshit. That's more propaganda and bullshit they push on the people.
Time is up on this narrative. We are ready to move on and embrace our futures.
Oh, Dr. West, I want to get... go ahead.
If I can come straight, I mean, first, xenophobia in the generic sense means the fear of other. And black folk have been othered, enslaved, Jim Crow, Jane Crow, and so forth. So if you want to...
And she just thinks she knows every fucking thing. That's probably, I guarantee she just fucking thinks she knows everything, man.
Narrow understanding at this point, but it's the other.
She can't get a brother respect to let him finish his statement. Now, when she was going on ranting on her bullshit, he sat there, he didn't say a fucking word. But of course, she has to cut the man off and over talk your brother. Even the fucking host. Check this shit out.
But think of the when you call my dear sister Maxine Waters low IQ.
She does have a low IQ.
That's vicious.
That's a fact.
You said what?
That is a fact. If she took an IQ exam, you would find out that Maxine Waters had a very low IQ.
And how do you know that? Where are you basing these facts on? How do you know that? How can you sit there and make a statement like that? The fucking Maxine Waters has a low IQ. How do you know her IQ? Huh? How do you fucking know that? Just making insane statements.
And I will
Fuck out of here.
It may not be nice, but it is true.
Okay.
When he called Brother Collin a son of a bitch, you see this kind of language is ridiculous.
I never used that language.
Not you.
No, I'm talking about the president. I'm not talking about you, my sister. I'm talking about the president.
Dr. West, look,
The president called Brother Collin a son of a bitch.
Okay, but what I think...
Now, see these feminist lesbians. They absolutely hate to see a man take control. They hate to see a man have any kind of control, any kind of. They sitting there cutting his breath. He can't even get a fucking word out of his mouth, man. This is absolutely ridiculous. This guy is supposed to be a so-called Harvard professor. He's supposed to be one of the most brilliant minds on the planet today, and they're sitting here treating this guy like he's a second-class citizen, like he doesn't have. See, that's the problem with these fucking lesbian feminists. That's the problem with these fucking. Fuck out of here.
It's on both sides. I mean, it's if they call him a gangster, a traitor. I mean, so we can play the game all night long. But I think the nasty language. It's on both sides. I mean, it's on if they call him a gangster, a traitor. I mean, so we can play that game all night.
See, that bitch just can't shut her fucking mouth. Everything she just got to put her input on everything. She got to have her 2 cents on everything. And when it comes to nasty language, you can't compare the word. If you call someone a gangster and a traitor, and if you call someone a son of a bitch, you can't put that in the same context. Come on. Fuck out of here.
But I do want to get this out. I want to get to this. The prevailing wisdom, I think Dr. West, highlighted this, is that race relations have deteriorated almost under this president. That's the thought. And that Obama was the great racial healer. Yet, in a new study by a pair of sociologists at UPenn, this is not some conservative outlet, they found that, quote, anti-black prejudice declined by a statistically insignificant degree between...
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. All right, so check this out. Now, it says that Trump's made Americans less racist. Now, okay, I want to know, how did you come up to this conclusion? How did you get these statistics? Okay, that's what the people want to know. Don't just put anything on the people, because people are so dumb. People are so stupid that anything that Fox News and CNN and the mainstream media puts out before you take it as fact and you run with it. Okay, I want you to break this shit down. I want to know exactly how did they come to the conclusion? How did they come up with these statistics? This is clearly just propaganda and rhetoric they just push out here on the people's election time. Come to give Donald Trump some kind of fucking something, because the media has been chewing him up and spitting him out, because that's all a game. Okay, he knows his role. He knows his place. This is ridiculous.
2012 and 2016, but then after 2016, it took a sharp dive. There was also a general fall in anti-Hispanic prejudice too. So, Professor.
Get the fuck out of here. Because if that's so true, then how come every time you turn on the news, every single day, no matter what network it is, ABC, Fox, CNN, CBS, they steady talking about this whole racial tension in America and how this is the highest level of racial tension that this country's had since the days of the 50s and 60s. Get the fuck out of
Mr.
here.
West, to what do you attribute these findings? So prejudice is on the downswing, not on the upswing, at least in these first few years of Trump.
Well, based on this particular study, I'd have to examine how they gather their evidence and so
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. I want to know where the fuck they got the statistics. How did they come up with the conclusion for this for those fucking numbers, man?
But anti-Jewish attacks, anti-Muslim attacks, anti-Mexican attacks, and not just anti-black attacks, but also the police departments, the military. When police do, in fact, shoot fellow citizens, whatever color they are, but disproportionately chocolate,
But that was happening
black
under Obama.
and brown.
Right, that was happening under
absolutely.
Obama. Like
That's
Ferguson.
true.
That shit was happening not just under Obama, but it's happened under every fucking so-called U.S. president.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
It's not
I'm just talking about continuities.
That's
Yeah.
I'm talking about continuities.
Right. I do want to share this. This was a moment that I think, again, going back to what Candace has worked on and spoken about, and what Dr. West, I think you two could actually be happy about together. Happened at the White House. I think it was last month, and it was an event commemorating the First Step Act. Let's watch.
And I really thank you for signing that bill.
Okay. Why did they do this? Why they put this fat black woman on here with that blonde hair? This is a joke. This is a joke. They just put this on here to mock the people, to put this to go ahead and move forward with these stereotypes. Why did they do this? Why did they do this? Why did they put her? What is she on here for, man? Bring it back a little bit.
And it was an event commemorating the First Step Act. Let's watch.
And I really thank you for signing that bill. When y'all passed this, I could have fell through the floor.
This is come on, man. Come on, man. What the fuck? What the fuck is that, man?
And I really thank you for signing that bill. When y'all passed this, I could have fell through the floor.
I'm an example of a woman who has been given a second chance in life.
And it's an experience that I'll never forget. 2 months ago, I was in a prison cell.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Where did they find these people, man? What are they talking? Why are they here? What the fuck is going on?
That's continue to make America great again.
Now, Dr. West, I mean, I don't think they were feeling xenophobia or mean-spiritedness. I think they actually found a president who was willing to work with people who really didn't even like him and didn't think he was probably going to accomplish much.
One thing, people, that you got to understand, that was nothing but a fake. Those people are just crisis actors. They're just actors that they hired to make Donald Trump look good, to make him look so-called less racist. And another thing, you can see this Candace bitch on the left side of the screen. You could tell her whole spirit changed when Dr. Cornel West started to spit his information. At first, at the beginning of the interview, she was all smiles and all happy with joy, happy to be there. And then after he started to make his statements, now it's war. Now it's war. You got to understand, these lesbian feminists, they absolutely hate men. They absolutely hate men. Absolutely.
And it got almost no coverage. I think we played it on our show, maybe a few other places, but didn't get any coverage. What's your reaction to seeing that?
No, I think that's a very important attempt to zero in on this vicious policy in the last 40 years of mass incarceration, punitive attitudes toward those engaged in various kinds of crimes. I've been blessed to teach in prisons for 37 years. The Raw Way to Step program of the Justice of Norfolk. It's something that has the president credit for that to offer. It's just that the dominant orientation is still tied to what I'm critical of both parties. Because identity politics for me is milquetoast neoliberal politics that don't talk about corporate power, don't talk about poverty, don't talk about militarism. But the Republicans still strike me as so cold-hearted, mean-spirited, and they're still tied to corporate power and Wall Street and won't hit poverty head on. But when it comes to prison, when it comes to statistics, I give the president credit for that. But it's still small relative to what I'm looking for. I see it in neither both parties other than Brother Bernie Sanders, but that's another dialogue, as you know.
Bernie Sanders.
This bitch just can't shut the fuck up and let the man speak. Everything that comes out of his mouth, she got to have some kind of 2 cents. Now, when it's your time to speak, bitch, then watch how Dr. Cornell, when she speaks, he's gonna have class. He's gonna sit there and let her say whatever the fuck is gonna come out of her goddamn mouth. He's not gonna interrupt and have a little slick shit to say under her breath. Now, the point that Dr. Cornel West just said is, he's been, he was talking about the whole imprisonment agenda over the last 40 plus years. Okay, so when you have one man go to the White House and meet the president, was in prison, and then for whatever reason he's allegedly gets out of prison to go to the White House and supposed to change everything. Get the fuck out of here, man.
We won't go into that right now.
No, we won't go to that. But I have to go back to this idea of race relations under Obama, which I almost fell out of my chair in the CNN story that came out in October of 2016. They got worse. 54% of Americans said they got worse. Only 16% said they got better. This was at the end of the Obama administration. So
sitting there mocking the people just because Barack Obama is allegedly African American, race relations and in this country we're supposed to be. Of course, Obama was seen as this great fucking messiah figure who's supposed to help take black people to the promised land. And they're sitting here exposing these numbers. Where were these numbers during the presidency? Where were these numbers when Obama was in office? Because all they did was worship the man when he was in office. Where were these numbers then? All of a sudden, when Donald Trump gets in office, that's how you know this is a paid propaganda by the Donald Trump administration to make him look good, man.
Now, what's that? You had Ferguson, you had Freddie Gray in Baltimore, you had all this stuff bursting out on the streets of America with the first African-American president in the White House, and that healing didn't seem to take place.
Right. Look, at that point, I was on the left. So when Barack Obama first went into office, I was a liberal, and I changed my mind due to exactly what you're saying. He drove this nation apart. President Trump is bringing this nation together because what he is talking
Okay, how did he drive this nation apart? How did he drive the nation apart? Because the nation was already apart fucking 100 years before Barack Obama even stepped foot in office. Okay? How I want to know how Barack Obama drove this nation apart. Was this nation not separate during Jim Crow? Was this nation not separate during slavery? What the fuck is this bitch talking about?
Is patriotism. Patriotism knows no sex, it knows no color, it knows no creed. The liberal media can ignore all the work that he's doing in Black America all they want. Every statistic in the world shows you right now that Black support for Donald Trump has doubled, and that is meaningful.
How? Where's those statistics? How did they come to this conclusion? How did they gather the facts? Where the evidence?
Telling you that by 2020, he is going to be the first president to crack the Black vote to the detriment of the Democrats.
Hey,
Oh man.
Professor West, I want to. Do you still do work in prisons? Do you still do it?
Absolutely.
Didn't he just say he did it for 37 years?
On one of your,
You can come
one of your visits?
anytime you like. We're going to keep track of the humanity and rich imagination and intelligence of our brothers and sisters who are incarcerated to make sure they have and make sure that they can unleash their potential. But I say to Sister Candace that I like her independence of mind. I think she's wrong most of the time. I fight for her right to be wrong in that regard. But I would move.
There you go, shit. There she go again, running her fucking mouth, not letting him get his. He can't even get a comment out without her fucking cutting her brother off.
You would move further to the left because when you have a Black Lives Movement under a black president, it's not going to be a matter of then moving to the right.
And you have to understand the Black Lives Matter movement was created by Europeans. It was fucking white people started that shit. Then they had these black faces, these so-called lesbians, these so-called African American lesbians who was the face of that shit. You gotta understand, that was another government program that they put on the people. The whole fucking Black Lives Matter movement.
Socialism has already been tried in our community. It's been tried via welfare policies, and that's completely crippled the Black community.
There she go, mocking the people with the whole welfare thing. You have to make sure she said that statement.
Cripple the black family via the welfare
my dear
policies.
sister.
You know that. So I had to creep all
That's
the
not
way to the right. And I have to tell you,
Socialism is
I'm happy
power
here.
sharing. Socialism
You know
is not
this is a fact.
giving
Black
and becoming
liberals go
people
conservative.
dependent
Black
on
conservatives
programs.
never
It's
go
power
liberal.
sharing.
Mr. West, I appreciate your time, but you know black liberals go conservative. Go liberal. There's a reason for that. I'm a side of
I would just add that
I
Wall
don't know.
Street.
Black people are complicated. Black people are complicated. We
We're
go
not
back
that
and forth, but I
complicated.
wish we had more black leftists.
All right, guys, we got to go. This was a fascinating conversation. We have to have you both back. Thank you very much,
Bye,
both
sir.
of you, for being here.
All right, that's it. But this was a very entertaining, very comical. This is clearly fake bullshit they put together to make Donald Trump look good. It's election time, so you're gonna see a lot more of these propaganda interviews, these propaganda videos, and these fake attacks and all of this bullshit. All of these psyops are gonna start piling up as we get closer to the 2020 election. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to Like a Knowledge TV. Peace.